Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Ancient Giles 5051 here once again. Today I present to you a shitty album review by a band that wasn't made by pencil-pushing office workers at Disney, but instead, and perhaps, to a worse degree, an album made by their competitor, Nickelodeon. I say it's possibly worse than the albums made by the Disney Channel stars, because the people of this group are younger than the ones who I have already reviewed. Yes, younger than Miley Cyrus was, when she was Hannah Montana. The name of the band in question are called the Naked Brothers Band, and they, and the hands of their mommies and daddies and everyone their mommies and daddies know it, the Los Angeles and Nickelodeon studio have crafted together possibly one of the worst albums I have ever listened to, at least in the last 2 months. It's called I Don't Want to Go to School and it chokes on BBC condoms. The only thing worse than shitty music by adults is shitty music from little kids. I don't necessarily like children, to be honest. They are mostly rude, obnoxious, uncultured, and you can't say anything to them outside the bracket of 20 phrases to them or else you will wind up on the sex offender registry, which in many cases can have very arbitrary constituents. They've already had an album before this one and it's probably just as bad. I heard that one song from it that they did, Crazy Car. They all look like they were under the age of 10 when they did it. I mean, look at the album cover. Why are they in the air? Why are they dressed so sloppily? The pants leg opening on the boy with the drumsticks looks like a tripping hazard and is pet peeving the shit out of me. Look how unprofessional he looks. It's almost like I'm looking at one of those chubby-wristed porcelain dolls. Does he still ride in a fucking car seat? These modern affected garments are incredibly exposing of how young he is. All in all, he looks like some child unaware of crumbs, food droppings on the floor and ass wiping without precision and I'd have to worry about when babysitting. The boy with the microphone looks like he's trying to look like a 20-something-year-old male who uses alcohol to wash away his self-loathing. What were the executives thinking? Little kids are supposed to look like this. Then there are the other children in this band. They have an Asian girl who plays the electric bass guitar, because lol, if a girl is in a band, she is there to play bass. That's quite a young age for their band leader to be so sexist.
And she's just as good as John Mayer.
They have a cello player, because their intention was to marginalize the band's sound direction to one stale style for the duration of their run. They have an organ player, and his playing is nothing but crap. Last but not least, they have some black boy playing guitar, because the executives opted for sexism instead of racism, hence the girl on the electric bass. The boy's playing is derivative and white, as that glasses-wearing organ player. These children are the blandest musicians I have come across. They play their instruments so soullessly and don't ever try to play any subversive chic and Mary Kay leads like a good band would. Looking at the track listing for this album, I found it laughable. Just the names of the songs sounded stupid, like Mystery Girl, Body I Occupy, Proof of My Love, Great Trip, Everybody's Cried at Least Once, Changing, and the best of them all, get this. Tall girls, short girls ... you. What? As a 20-year-old male, I can't say that there's this prevalent paradigm teetering amongst the many eligible women in my everyday life. There's no freaks. Girls tend to grow taller than males once they hit puberty, so this doesn't sound like a song that he's going to sing again anytime soon. They have no experiences, so the songs are all meaningless. The songs are all soft as cellulite and directionless. From the start of the album, you're riding a river of shit. The tall child is apparently having a seizure right before the microphone. Really, what is that shit? Track 4, that piano in the bridge sounds so fake. The harmonies are so abhorrently lame and unsettlingly anemic. It's such a copycat of real bands and real musicians, right down to the production of this album, which is terrible, as shown in the track that follows, with a terrible motif of vocals of the two fuckers on top of it. Why put those horns in the mix? Why is the guitar solo muffled? It's really not often you get something like a solo in this album, and the moment where there is one, the producer masks it in the mix and there's a phaser applied to a backing vocal track that loops throughout what seems like the entire song, and the result is raised cerebral vascular blood pressure in me. Sheesh, this shit's bad for ya. The song City, with the oversang accusing the blacks argument in this post-civil rights country. This is the worst combination of genres, screamo and rap and, of course, pop music. The second half is a complete bore fest, trudging on exhaustively with more feeble cleans, screams, raps, harmonies, and above all, crap music. eventually completely drags compared to the first track, not to mention, the vocal mixing is terrible, probably rushed and incomplete. And oh god, fuck his voice. There is a song called Why, where the small bastard is singing, as opposed to drumming. The diction is a nightmare. Am I listening to musical satire? His tone is absolute crap, nonetheless. You never even find out what the song is about given that he knows no more than 30 words, half of which are, "Mommy, flush the toilet for me, make me Texas toast, turn the Halo 3 on." And there's more of those female backing vocals which are not helping to elevate the anemic energy stagnating all over this shit's album. In the song Everybody Cries, a song with a title insulting to a person's intelligence, it sounds like an eco-friendly washing machine that people caress their fingers over whenever they are in an appliance store. 3 is enough as to be the worst song from this piece of shit album. It's more undefined echoing of proper musicians. What is with that fade in the harmony vocal parts? It sounds so irritating. What are you counting? Tits? Not only is it lyrically banal, it's sung horribly with the small child in vocals. Again. The album ends with this forgettable song called Great Trip, which doesn't even have half the energy the first song/title track has with pretty much every quality and instrumental scheme of the rest of the album. 2.5 minutes of that shit, and then the album ends. Just the most generic rock album ever written with awful vocals. Phil Spector style. That's it. The album doesn't even exceed 40 minutes in length. What the fuck? Evolution Compost doesn't even have an extended play that's short. And here, pretty much every Evolution Compost album thus far and the ones coming are 70 plus minutes in length. $2 million for a budget and this stupid little wannabe band doesn't even release a sophomore album that surpasses 40 minutes. Just give up your fucking record contract and go to fucking school, you thieving shits. This album should be at least 17 or 18 tracks long and 1 hour in length, at minimum, given that the songs on it are supposed to be a quote-unquote diary for the episodic narrative of the TV show. This album has to be one of the worst I have listened to in recent years. It has zero redeeming qualities. Why would any parent or adult give this kind of music to little kids? Why this? Why Anna Montana? Why Kids Bop? It's only going to get them into the habit of listening to shitty mainstream music of the now. Just make them listen to real music, and if they bitch about it, fuck 'em, they won't get anything. Just give them music from real bands, or Mozart. This band is for faggot little girls.